Airways flight touched down for the first time on Ogdensburg International Airport's runway. 7 News reporter Sandy Torres was there today for the inaugural flight to Washington, D.C. and tells us another destination is also in the works.
This is the moment this Breeze 8220 aircraft landed at the Ogdensburg International Airport. The plane getting baptized as it made its way through an airport tradition. There are 137 seats on this brand new plane. The airport manager says this day couldn't get here any sooner.
We've been waiting for this for a while, and I'm glad we got it accomplished.
Serving the Ogdensburg community will be part of Breeze Airways' first essential air service contract. The Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority is glad the Department of Transportation followed its recommendation to bring Breeze on board. It took a lot of consideration before a decision was made.
Cost of essential air service, the actual airline, their reputation, what type of service they can provide to our airport.
The city's mayor, Mike Tooley, says the city is also pleased with the new airline. Tooley says it creates an opportunity to benefit the economy of both the city and the North Country.
If you're trying to catch a flight from Ogdensburg to D.C., well, flights are currently leaving around 4:55. Officials say that you should use the airline's app or website to book your flight and to do your pre-check. Flights are currently starting at $30, but that price can change depending on your comfort.
Besides daily direct flights to D.C., the airline says it will announce an additional destination next week. Meanwhile, Breeze officials say serving Ogdensburg is already a win.
Grow, potentially in the future, depending on what our service looks like out of here and what the demand is like.
Breeze replaces Contour Airlines, which flew from Ogdensburg to Philadelphia. Sandy Torres, 7 News.